Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be giving you 6 book recommendations to read in the spooky month of October. These books are all, I would say, actually just spooky is kind of like the underlying themes. Some of them are supernatural, some of them aren't, some of them are thrillers, some of them aren't. So yeah, let's just get into it. Also, I will just be reading the description that's on Goodreads because I am terrible at summarizing books and these people are paid to do it. So I'm just going to read those and then give you a little bit of a review of what I thought of the book at the end. The first book is called The Dead in the Dark and it's by Courtney Gould. This is the summary. Courtney Gould's thrilling debut and The Dead in the Dark is about the things that lurk in dark corners, the parts of you that can't remain hidden, and about finding home in places and people you didn't expect. The dark has been waiting for far too long, and it won't stay hidden any longer. Something is wrong in Snakebite, Oregon. Teenagers are disappearing, some turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, and all fingers seem to point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just returned to town. Logan Oritz Woodley, daughter of the TV's Paraspectors, has never been to Snakebite before, but the moment she and her dads arrive, she starts to get the feeling that there are more secrets buried here than they originally let on. Ashley Barton's boyfriend was the first teen to go missing, and she's felt his presence ever since. But now that the Oritz Woodleys are in town, the ghost is following her, and the only person Ashley can trust is mysterious Logan. When Ashley and Logan team up to figure out who or what is haunting Snakebite, their investigation reveals truths about the town, their families, and themselves that neither of them are ready for. As the danger intensifies, they realize that their growing feelings for each other could be a light in the darkness. So that's a pretty thorough summary of like the whole book. But I really enjoyed this book. It was spooky. It was lots of paranormal aspects, but also very thrilling. And yeah, I highly recommend this book. Book number 2 is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. Here's the summary. West Hall, Vermont has always been a town of strange disappearances and old legends. The most mysterious is that of Sarah Harrison Shea, who in 1908 was found dead in the field behind her house just months after the tragic death of her daughter. Now, in present day, 19-year-old Ruthie lives in Sarah's farmhouse with her mother, Alice, and her younger sister. Alice has always insisted that they live off the grid, a decision that has weighty consequences when Ruthie wakes up one morning to find that Alice has vanished. In her search for clues, she's startled to find a copy of Sarah Harrison Shea's diary hidden beneath the floorboards of her mother's room. As Ruthie gets sucked into the historical mystery, she discovers that she's not the only person looking for someone they've lost, but she may be the only one who can stop history from repeating itself. This book is also kind of supernatural, lots of supernatural elements and kind of ghosts from the past themed, but it was really good. It was very thrilling and kind of always kept you on the edge of your seat. You never were sure quite what was going to happen next. The next book is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Here's the summary. Fried and Great Tomatoes and Steel Magnolias meet Dracula in the southern-flavored supernatural thriller set in the 90s about a woman's book club that must protect its suburban community from a mysterious and handsome stranger who turns out to be a blood-sucking fiend. Patricia Campbell has always planned for a big life, but after giving up her career as a nurse to marry an ambitious doctor and become a mother, Patricia's life has never felt smaller. The days are long, her kids are ungrateful, her husband is distant, and her to-do list is never really done. The one thing she has to look forward to is her book club, a group of Charleston mothers united only by their love of true crime and suspenseful fiction. In these meetings, they are more likely to discuss the FBI's recent siege of Waco as much as the ups and downs of marriage and motherhood. But when an artistic and sensitive stranger moves into the neighborhood, the book club's meetings turn into speculation about the newcomer. Patricia is initially attracted to him, but when some local children go missing, she starts to suspect the newcomer is involved. She begins her own investigation, assuming that he's the Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy. What she uncovers is far more terrifying, and soon she and her book club are the only people standing between the monster they've invited into their homes and their unsuspecting community. Again, this is obviously, it's about vampires, so it's obviously a supernatural book. But again, very thrilling, very interesting. The next book is The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. Here's the summary. The secrets lurking in a rundown roadside motel ensnare a young woman, just as they did her aunt 35 years before, in this new atmospheric suspense novel from the national best-selling and award-winning author of The Broken Girls. Upstate New York, 1982. Every small town like Fell, New York has a place like the Sundown Motel. Some customers are from out of town, passing through on their way to someplace better. Some are locals trying to hide their secrets. Viv Delaney works as the night clerk to pay for her move to New York City, but something isn't right at the Sundown, and before long she's determined to uncover all of the secrets hidden. Another really great book. It's another one with supernatural elements. I guess so far all of these ones have had supernatural elements, so I guess that's the theme. But that's about to change. But yeah, so this one is, again, like it says, it's a suspenseful, thrilling book. Keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. The next book is called The Man from the Train, The Solving of a Century-Old Serial Killer Mystery by Bill James and Rachel McCarthy James. The summary is quite long, but here it is. Using unprecedented, dramatically compelling sleuthing techniques, legendary statistician and baseball writer Bill James applies his analytical acumen to crack an unsolved century-old mystery surrounding one of the deadliest serial killers in American history. Between 1898 and 1912, families across the country were bludgeoned in their sleep with the blunt side of an axe. Jewelry and valuables were left in plain sight, bodies were piled together, faces covered with cloth. Some of these cases, like the infamous Villisca, Iowa murders, received national attention, but few people believed the crimes were related. And fewer still would realize that all these families lived within walking distance of a train station. When celebrated baseball statistician and true crime expert Bill James first learned about these horrors, he began to investigate others that might fit the same pattern. Applying the same know-how he brings to his legendary baseball analysis, he empirically determined which crimes were committed by the same person. Then, after sifting through thousands of local newspapers, court transcripts, and public records, he and his daughter Rachel made an astonishing discovery. They learned the true identity of this monstrous criminal. In turn, they uncovered one of the deadliest serial killers in America. Riveting and immersive, the writing as sharp as the cold side of an axe, The Man from the Train paints a vivid, psychologically perceptive portrait of America at the dawn of the 20th century, when crime was regarded as a local problem and opportunistic private detectives exploited a dysfunctional judicial system. James shows how these cultural factors enabled such an unspeakable series of crimes to occur, and his groundbreaking approach to true crime will convince skeptics, amaze aficionados, and change the way we view criminal history. So this is a true crime book, as will the next book be. So if you're not into true crime stories, then obviously this won't be for you. But this was a very interesting book. It definitely painted a very vivid picture of this criminal and like kind of the impact that he had on America, because he traveled all over on the train. It was America. It wasn't just any one place. And it definitely had me spooked in the night. The next and final book is called I'll Be Gone in the Dark, The One Woman's Obsessive Search for the Golden State Killer. That's by Michelle McNamara, Patton Oswalt as the afterword, and Gillian Flynn as the introduction. This is a long summary, but it's worth it. A masterful true crime account of this Golden State Killer, the elusive serial rapist turned murderer who terrorized California for over a decade. From Michelle McNamara, the gifted journalist who died tragically while investigating the case. You'll be silent forever, and I'll be gone in the dark. For more than 10 years, a mysterious and violent predator committed 50 sexual assaults in Northern California before moving south, where he perpetuated 10 sadistic murders. He then disappeared, eluding capture by multiple police forces and some of the best detectives in the area. 3 decades later, Michelle McNamara, a true crime journalist who created the popular website truecrimediary.com, was determined to find the violent psychopath she called the Golden State Killer. Michelle pored over police records, interviewed victims, and embedded herself in the online communities that were as obsessed with the case as she was. At the time of the crimes, the Golden State Killer was between the ages of 18 and 30, Caucasian and athletic, capable of vaulting tall fences. He always wore a mask. After choosing a victim, he favored suburban couples. He often entered their home when no one was there, studying family pictures, mastering the layout. He attacked while they slept, using a flashlight to awaken and blind them. Though they could not recognize him, his victims recalled his voice, a guttural whisper through clenched teeth, abrupt and threatening. I'll Be Gone in the Dark, the masterpiece McNamara was writing at the time of her sudden death, offers an atmospheric snapshot of the moment in American history and a chilling account of a criminal mastermind and the wreckage he left behind. It is also a portrait of a woman's obsession and her unflagging pursuit of the truth. Framed by an introduction by Gillian Flynn and an afterword by her husband Patton Oswalt, the book was completed by Michelle's lead researcher and a close colleague. Utterly original and compelling, it is destined to become a true crime classic, and may at last unmask the Golden State Killer. So the interesting thing about that book is that the Golden State Killer has actually been caught and charged and is in prison right now, I believe. Or maybe he died. I don't remember. But anyways, so this is a little bit of an outdated telling of the tale, but it is still a really in-depth, really well-researched telling of it. And it kind of gives you an insight into Michelle McNamara's mind at the time as well. So it's a bit of a memoir, but I found it really, really interesting. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations based off of my recommendations for spooky books to read in October, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking for more thrillers, more exciting, scary stories to read, true crime included. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Later days!